Hey everybody, my name is Darda. I am a professional psychic and Reiki master in Western New York. Next Wednesday, June 24th, is my basic Oracle Tools class that is from 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday evening. And that's $20 a person. You need to register by Tuesday noon time of next week in order to get onto the class list. And this is basically learning how to use pendulums, dowsing rods, any type of oracle tools that are not tarot, because I have a separate class obviously for tarot classes. So if you want to learn how to use some different oracle tools, then just make sure to sign up for that class. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about Midsummer. So this is going to be coming up here on Sunday. Midsummer is the summer solstice, and it is the longest day of the year, while the winter solstice, Yule, is either December 20th, 21st, or 22nd, is the longest night of the year. And Midsummer has been celebrated and honored throughout the world in all different cultures. As astronomically important, as well as a time for fertility of the land and of the people. So this is a time that was honored and celebrated, and especially at the Standing Stones. A lot of people are aware of Stonehenge and any of the other standing stones that were actually utilized for these rites of these different rites of the wheel of the year, that they were honored, especially at the solstices and the equinoxes. And for us Druids, the name is Alban Heffen, which is the light of summer. And the sun is at its highest declination and seems to pause in the horizon. Then the word solstice actually means sun stand still. That's what the word solstice actually means. So it's at a specific time and location in the sky as to when that solstice is. So the solstice, the summer solstice, symbolizes abundance, growth of all plants and wildlife, and the crops are increasing in size and expanding in the fields. In ancient times, this was a huge thing, and it really should be seen as an important thing even today, because we still need to eat. And even though we all are not growing our own crops right at this moment, we need to really understand our connection to the land, and how these times of year are actually very important to us as humans. So from the day of Midsummer on, so Midsummer, the day after that, is called the dark half of the year. The Midsummer day is the longest, that is the longest day of the year, and so from there on out, the days are getting shorter, right? So that's where that phrase, the start of the dark half of the year, comes from. And then when we get to the winter solstice, or Yule, that starts, and that's the longest day of the year. That's when the days start getting longer. In ancient Celtic times, the Celtic people would enact this battle of the Holly King and the Oak King, which symbolized the eternal battle between light and dark, the light half of the year and the dark half of the year. So the Oak King is the Summer King. He represents the fertility and the growth of the land, the waxing of the light. And he's often seen as the Green Man. A lot of people recognize him as the Green Man in some capacity. And he's the one that wins at the winter solstice. So the Holly King is the Winter King, who represents darkness, introspection, and the waning light. And often seen as an ancient Santa Claus in some capacity. That's where these ideas are coming from. And the Holly King is the one who wins at the summer solstice. Okay, so once we get to the summer solstice and the Holly King and the Oak King battle, then the Winter King wins, because that's where we're going into the dark half of the year. And then at the winter solstice, then the Oak King wins, and that's where we get into the light half of the year. Midsummer bonfires were burned to purify yourself and your livestock and to make everyone fertile. So they would have two bonfires that they would lead their livestock through to bless them in order to make all of the livestock be more fertile. There's also a lot of feasting that goes on. Now, it's not a huge feast like as in the harvest feasts because not everything is grown in yet. But, at least us modern neo-pagans always have a feast of some sort that's specifically about anything that's being grown right now, like fruits, berries, greens, things like that are in season right now. That would be part of the feasting, excuse me. So on Sunday, if you're able to, for Midsummer, I know it's also Father's Day, but take some time to quietly meditate and focus on your inner light, your personal growth, and the cyclical nature of time. To really just think of what are some of your personal goals and how can you utilize the sun energy to empower you. Okay, so I hope that this is helpful to you. This is, one of the 8 Sabbats that we celebrate, us neo-pagans celebrate all throughout the year. And this is the longest day of the year. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next week. All right, bye-bye.